Welcome to Divisive Issues. This is a comic book podcast where we reveal wild, wacky, crazy, kooky, and controversial issues in comics. I'm Joe Ciano.
I'm Sly Crapple.
And I'm Ryan Lynch.
And we'd like to welcome you back, or if this is your first time,
You
welcome
made
to
a
Divisive
mistake.
Issues.
It is a part 2.
This is part 2 of our review of Neal Adams' Batman Odyssey miniseries. If you want to know what happened in the first part, go listen to our previous episode or read the first 5 pages of Volume 2,
Yeah.
where Bruce Wayne will painstakingly tell you everything that happened in that mini.
So instead of doing our opening thoughts, we're just going to tell you, listen to the first episode.
Yeah.
And
We think it's good.
It's basically more of the same. I think they're collected together, so I
Yeah.
can't imagine you only reading the second half.
You read the first half, then throw out the second half. Cut pages out and throw
Yeah,
them out.
so
I feel like you might as well, but
I would
think-
disagree.
There you go. I'm excited.
All right, so
I'm sorry, it's not that bad.
to open it up,
We'll get to it.
So we're just jumping right in. So
Yeehaw.
nothing you guys want to say before we get into this wacky, zany...
I don't know why we're not just jumping 3 issues into this, because I felt like very little
because we have important dinosaur hunting.
we have important dinosaur writing for Batman to do.
That's the best way I could tell this, is if you thought Batman Odyssey was crazy but wish there were more dinosaurs... Oh, also, I have a correction to make from the last episode. Apparently there were dinosaurs. Do you guys
Dinosaur
remember?
people.
Yeah. So in this book... See, the reason why I'm going into this now is because
This is pretty important.
It's
no, right?
supposed to
This
be
is
revealed
really
before.
worthwhile.
Primus, who was the weird Robin knockoff,
Yes.
if you don't remember, that's fine. It was basically like this weird, like, caveman-looking Batman and a weird, ugly-looking Robin.
Primus is the Robin.
Primus is the
Weird
Robin
Robin,
one.
who was the Robin to Weird Batman.
Yeah,
The purple Batman.
yeah.
Jamroth is the purple Batman.
Yeah, Jamrock.
They say his name a lot more in this one, which is why we all remember.
Yeah. So Primus is, in this, revealed to be a hyper-evolved dinosaur.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, so that's why you had a tail. And I went back, and apparently he did have a tail that we just totally missed in the first miniseries.
No, it wasn't really drawn that like.
It's
It's,
there,
it's
but
there,
you
but it
wouldn't
doesn't
notice it.
stand out,
Yeah, it doesn't stand out
which
at
is
all.
weird because it
But
should.
Apparently he is a
He's
dino
also
man.
he's not drawn big in any of the panels either.
Not all dinos are big.
No, but like he's not like the centerpiece of a panel.
Yeah, I
Like
see what you're
he's
saying.
very
I see what you're
small on the page.
saying. Yes. He's always like in the background.
Yeah.
He's a little baby boy dino.
I am really glad they made a sequel to the Mario Brothers movie with the evolved dinosaur humans.
I think that's an episode for another day.
I would love to do the Mario Brothers movie.
I have it on DVD, but I'm afraid to watch it.
I didn't even know it came out. It came out on DVD.
I have it on DVD. I'm afraid to watch it.
So-
I'm looking at it right now, actually, on my DVD.
Joe really
shelf.
hated this book because he just wants to talk about anything.
He's looking at the DVD wistfully like, I could talk about that right now. It's fucking amazing. So,
So Mario Brothers.
All right,
no,
brothers.
so Mario Brothers 2, Batman Odyssey. The story opens with Batman talking to the mysterious figure from last time, except this time the figure is actually talking back, and it's more like an actual conversation. And they just open up talking about coffee.
You know, it's more how people interact. you
Yeah.
know?
So they talk about coffee. Batman talks about his coffee maker, saying, "Hey, so makes great cappuccino, makes great coffee. Alfred hates his coffee maker. Very important stuff." And
They make it seem like I guess coffee machines are new. See, when we were reading this, I thought when we were the first miniseries, I thought this was like present day, and he's reflecting back. But whoever he's talking to is acting like the coffee machine is this brand new, crazy, wacky, like Willy Wonka invention.
it's great. Can't believe it's a machine.
So I guess this takes place in the 70s. When did coffee machines come out?
I think it's modern. I just think he has a really fancy like coffee machine.
but
that
he's
Alfred can't
surprised that it came
comprehend.
from a machine at all.
Yeah, like
He's Batman. Batman's surprised that a lot of things happen in this story.
No, but
for
it's
any
his
reason.
it's his mystery narratee that's surprised.
yeah, coffee machines. What is this?
I guess they don't have those in in Atlantis. Oops.
It-
Spoiler
It is
alert.
not Aquaman.
So,
I would love to ask our listeners to, if you can guess who this mystery narratee is, email us while you're listening to the episode, and then finish the episode,
Yeah.
and you'll find out if you're right.
We'll give you a no prize,
No prize.
which
There
is
are-
we'll send you a blank email.
and you may think, but Divisive Issues, you haven't given us any clues. Yeah, neither has this fucking book, so it's fine.
this story actually gives anti-clues because this figure has a bandage on his finger, which is an anti-clue to who it is.
Yeah, and he's got
Red-
really masculine
I'm sorry,
hands.
a red herring.
Yeah.
You're missing the obvious red herring joke from a pup named Scooby-Doo.
I make red herring jokes off the air at least once a day.
So, So the first 5 pages of this, as Joe says, are recaps of the first Odyssey story. And I have to wonder, this was part of the New 52, which is DC's big, huge reboot. Imagine reading this as hey, I'm going to read this new
Oh my
Batman
god,
story.
this did come out at the same time as Penguin, Pain and Prejudice, didn't
Yes,
it?
it did.
Wow, I can't imagine picking that over
Now,
this.
a little bit of
Ever.
backstory that we probably mentioned last time.
Mhm.
It was originally supposed to be a 13-issue series. They broke it into a 6 and a 7-issue miniseries. So there was a 10-month gap in release between the last episode and where this episode picks up. So I understand the need for the recap because we reviewed this last week and I have no idea what happened if I didn't have him recap it because some of it is crazy nonsense.
Yeah. So the story opens with Arkham Asylum. The inmates are making a jail door. I want to clarify ahead of time. I did not understand what was happening, so
neither.
I'm going to assume, to the best of my knowledge, what was happening in the story. Just like last time.
Oh, and I guess we should give a very brief recap. So all that happened in the first miniseries
Of consequence was...
of consequence was Ra's al Ghul has a son called the Sensei,
yeah, Sensei.
Sensei, who's really old because Ra's al Ghul wouldn't let him use the Lazarus Pit,
And he's pissed about it.
and he's pissed about it. So he wants to take over the League of Assassins and
Kill Ra's al Ghul.
kill Ra's al Ghul. And to do that, he becomes the head of Arkham Asylum to try to trick Batman or something. I don't know. And he... What does he do?
I forget.
He,
Wants to kill Ra's al Ghul.
yeah, so Ra's al Ghul comes to Batman
That's
and
basically,
says...
that's basically part of it. And then he's like, I want to kill Ra's al Ghul. And then Batman's like, he wants to kill you.
Yeah,
And
so
then he takes a nap.
Ra's al Ghul
And
goes...
Talia still wants Batman to give him a big. Oh, she also kidnapped Talia.
Yeah, so the
Who wants to give
Sensei...
Batman a big sloppy kiss?
The Sensei...
Big ol' swoosh.
Yeah, the Sensei kidnaps Talia and the Neanderthal Batman's girlfriend, and Ra's al Ghul comes to Batman and says, "You have to save them and stop the Sensei. You're the only one who could do it." And then Batman
And you have to
takes
kill
him.
him.
That's basically everything, right?
I want to clarify. The story is called Batman Odyssey. The first half of the story has no Odyssey in it.
Yeah.
You can skip the first half and just read this part, and you'll get the whole plot.
Yeah, but the
what
first
it
half
is.
is way more fun.
It
First
I
half
agree.
is the best part of this. This
Yeah,
is-
but I did think the second half was pretty fun. So
Okay.
I keep interrupting Sly.
Okay.
I apologize.
So
Continue.
the story opens with these inmates are making a big prison door, and three of them are making a gate, and one's on tea, and so he has a teapot, he's making tea while everyone's making this prison door, and the sensei is there, and the woman brings him a cup of tea, saying, "Tea, sensei?" And he's like, "No, my tea lies beyond the doors.
Yeah, what?
Beyond those doors? They look so sturdy. Not the first door. It's poorly made. Dispose of it." And the woman just smashes the door with her fists.
And who is this woman? Have we met her before?
I don't-
Nope.
Will we ever see her again?
Nope.
No.
And behind that door, big reveal. It's another big door. This one made of steel.
A vault door. Of,
vault
of
door, yeah.
It
steel.
breaks to like three
Do
other...
they? What door are the guys working on?
It is the fourth door down. Like, first he breaks the shitty door, then he breaks the bank door, then he breaks the bamboo door, then he breaks another bank door, then he breaks the prison door.
This must be some good tea.
Yeah, fuck you.
This is some chamomile extract.
I thought it's called chamomile.
One time I convinced Sly that chamomile was pronounced chamomile.
So, the prison...
I think it was over some jalapeno wings.
So, he breaks through all these bank football doors, and the prison guard's like, "Oh, he can't break through his prison door."
You can't break these cuffs.
And then Sensei makes these fucking bees show up, and they eat the door open.
Oh yeah, what are they? Just kidding. They don't. We don't know.
I fucking know. And he never does this again. So,
I wish I had these crazy bee powers.
Bees. My God.
They throughout this whole book, they just give the sensei these crazy powers.
okay, so he was hypnotizing the prisoners thinking their bee was coming while he was stealing their keys somehow from outside the door.
He runs Arkham Asylum. Why does he have to steal these prisoners' keys?
Why does he steal their keys to get tea? It was a test of some type. But the test, after he takes the tea from them, he says all three of you have to kill each other, and they do.
It's like in The Dark Knight when the Joker breaks the pool cue.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like that.
But like, what's the point of the tea part if he's just gonna make them kill each other anyway?
It's delicious.
Who doesn't want tea?
It reminds me of a Superboy story where Lex Luthor builds a time machine so he could go back in time, and he convinces Superboy to steal all these leaves from dinosaur nests, and he almost dies just so he could get a delicious cup of tea.
Yeah.
Can't believe I made that all out in one breath.
So the one guy kills the rest of them and says, "Yo, you are now part of my hunting pack." And he's like, "What? Your hunting pack?" And he's like, "Oh yes, you're going to hunt Ra's al Ghul. Time for a short nap. Father has disappeared. We'll pick up his trail in the morning, possibly under the earth. Under it? Yes, under. We shall see."
The dialogue is as good as it was last time. So does the guy who killed the other guys, like this guy he just convinced to come with him, does he show up again later?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
So,
If he does, I don't remember him.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he doesn't last very long.
Yeah.
so our first glimpse of Batman.
Smash cut.
Smash cut.
Batman.
Our first glimpse of Batman's story. This is your first appearance of Batman if you read this as part of the 52.
Because it is a number 1.
Yeah, it's the number 1 issue. It's Batman on a giant bat fighting a bunch of guys riding dinosaurs.
It's awesome. You can't tell me that Batman riding giant like pterodactyls fighting T-Rexes isn't the coolest thing in the world.
So
Look me in the eyes and tell me that's not the coolest
it
thing
is the
ever.
coolest. It is the
was
coolest thing.
it was okay.
Joe,
Joe was very negative on these
Joe, he's I can't think of a joke. I was trying to combine anti-Semite with dinos.
Anti-Dynite. So Batman jumps on these riders to steal their guns.
Now there's no exposition telling us why he's
Yeah.
fighting dinosaurs.
Yeah, so he says, "Good. Let's see how quickly we can unload this gun. Then, let's see how quickly we can unload you." And then he throws him off the dinosaur.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then the dino, he tries to ride dinosaur, but dinosaur bites his cape and uses his cape to basically hurl him around and smash him against a rock. And then we flash back. Then while Batman's on this rock, and he says, "Oh, it was another bad day. Not that I was uncomfortable. I was very comfortable, dangling from this rock. I was wedged between 2 rocks, hanging. It was nice, really, until the blood started rushing to my head."
These 3 issues where it's just him riding dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Like the way, because I read this book last, the way I kind of read it, like I almost, it's so unnecessarily wordy.
Yeah.
Every
and, like-
fucking issue is unnecessary early.
No, but like at least like the words were essential to the plot.
Yeah, now-
I
yeah.
argue that.
This is just him like trying to like put words over his like art.
My theory is
Because there needs to be like this. These 3 issues would just read almost so much better if they were just like wordless. And
I
could
would
follow
love
Neal-
to read a wordless issue with just smash cuts of Batman fighting dinosaurs and then back to him in the Batcave.
I think it
And
would have
then-
worked. I think it would have worked better if it was like he stopped trying. If he didn't overwrite these scenes, because I feel like he did this beautiful art sequence. Like, well, I have to put words here now. Better put a lot of them.
I have a theory about this whole book that I'm going to wait till we get to the end to discuss.
I'll say my theory. My theory is Neal Adams drew the cool pictures and later on came up with the script. We're looking at the pictures, and since he worked in Bronze Age where there's a lot of words still, he probably thought you write a lot of words and actually go story, right?
I think someone else was supposed to script it, and then they saw it and they were like, I can't do this. You do it.
So, Batman's blood is rushing to his head. He flashbacks back to the way Manor before, after he took a nap in last segment, and before he took on this Odyssey.
I like to think it was a 10-month nap, and that's why the book the book had that break.
Yeah, so
So everyone go about their business for the next 10 months while Master Bruce takes his nap.
So Batman and Roz bitch at each other because Roz wants to go to Underworld with him. Batman's like, "No, I'm going by myself with Purple Batman." Purple Batman is not. This is now when they reveal. No, this is still not even the time to reveal he's a dinosaur. This
That comes later.
Yeah, that
But
comes later.
we were supposed to know that because he has a big tail,
That big foreshadowing.
I guess.
And Robin is like, "I want to go with you," and Batman's like, "No, fuck off, Robin."
Yeah.
And
This is another thing that happened in the first miniseries.
Yeah.
Batman doesn't want him to come with it because it's revealed that the sensei killed Robin's parents to test him so he could become a ninja or something. And Batman's like, Robin can't find out yet. I don't want him to know. The sensei killed his parents. It's too dangerous. He has to stay home.
I don't get. I didn't comment on this, but because there's so many things I don't comment on. Recruiting assassins by killing trapeze artists and their parents.
Yeah, because they also did the exact same thing to Deadman.
That's sort of the only reason I feel like he did this is you wanted to link Robin and Deadman. You
I mean,
want to make Deadman somewhat crucial. You want to give Deadman a reason to be here.
Well,
in the
Deadman was
story.
his big DC character breakout.
Yeah,
But Deadman has no reason to be here other than that.
exactly.
That's the
So that's why he does it.
But like, I'm just imagining Ra's al Ghul going to Barnum and Bailey's circus and saying, "Ah, these are my new recruits."
Well, it
You
wasn't Ra's
think
al
he
Ghul,
does
it
that
was
as like
the
a
sensei.
sick joke, like it just makes him like laugh inside. Aha! Dead trapeze. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, so basically, Batman's like, you stay, and Ra's al Ghul's like, I guess. And Alfred, like, blows him off, and he's like, whatever, drink your tea, asshole.
And so, while Ra's al Ghul's moping in the Batcave, Alfred goes and explains to Robin that Primus is a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And Deadman occupies Alfred's body for no reason whatsoever to say the same story.
Well, doesn't he eventually, Deadman convinces Robin to go with him?
Oh, maybe
the
I don't
underground?
fucking know. I keep forgetting when Dead Man's people's bodies. And,
Yeah, whatever. Eventually, basically, Robin's whole scene is him being like, I can't believe Batman left. And then Dead Man either convinces him or tries to convince him not to. But either way, Dead Man and Robin go to the underground later.
So, I guess from the Batcave they go down to the underworld, which is where the dinosaurs are. And Primus and...
We assumed it was attached to the Batcave, right?
I think it is. There's nothing
It feels like it.
There's nothing
It
that
feels
indicates
like
it's not.
Yeah.
So, and
Everything
Jamroff...
else is in the Batcave. Why not that?
A giant penny, a dinosaur, a lot of dinosaurs.
Jamroff explains that down there they have TV and they have internet, and they know about Batman in our world, and that's where he got the idea to be a purple Batman.
Yeah, so he's...
It all implies that they've met before.
Does it?
I thought so.
I didn't.
It
get
seemed
that, but
like
you
he-
read it the most recently.
Okay, so Joe's interpretation is that...
It seemed like he taught this guy a little bit.
I don't fucking know. Whatever.
I could be wrong.
You could be right
could-
too.
I'm
You could be right,
absolutely
and it's hard, we could be both right and wrong, and it'd be hard to tell.
So that's the end of issue 1, right? That's all that happens.
Yeah, that's all that happens.
Yep.
So now back to Bruce Wayne telling.
I feel very vindicated in my judgment of
Yeah. So back to Bruce Wayne having his mystery story. This time he's in a sweet Green Lantern
Yeah, well,
t-shirt.
he put on the shirt finally. It's a Green Lantern shirt because Neal Adams has to reference his Green Arrow, Green Lantern run somehow.
I think the comics code was like, this guy's chest is too hairy.
So they're like, oh, we have to go find their mounts, and you have to go through trolls to do it. And
yeah,
You have
why?
to pay the troll toll
Yeah,
to get through it.
they gotta pay the troll toll if they want to.
Get in that underworld hole.
Yeah.
so and the trolls and them are like dicks to each other. The trolls are like, useless feckle stuff without reason for being. Away, away! And Jamro's like, twist your wretched forms to the ground, you vile, useless, dirt-biting scum, or your lives are forfeit.
You know, I was disappointed that they didn't use the best DC troll, Joe.
So they give him some silverware, and the trolls are like, oh wow, silver! This has got to be great.
Yeah, it's like the fucking Little Mermaid.
Yeah, they pay the troll toll.
And so now that that's when Batman gets access to the bats. And
Is there any reason why they had to show us them fighting the dinosaurs first?
I was gonna ask the
And then
exact same
flash
question.
back to that. Do you think there's any reason to that? Do you think that someone picking up an issue 1,
You got to entice the reader.
you gotta
know?
entice it with he's gonna be riding dinosaurs soon?
You established the premise early on, which is Batman is going to be not doing anything of substance and riding dinosaurs for a while.
I'd like to think that a Neal Adams starstruck intern was bringing the finished pages to DC and dropped them and mixed them up.
So while this is happening, Batman knows that Jamroff keeps calling him Master, and he says, "Oh, yeah, this is where he explains, you're my master. You've taught me everything. I love you, Batman."
He's like, no, I saw you on the internet.
Yeah.
All right, so was it okay to be confused when he calls him master and stuff? That like it was more of an apprentice relationship.
That's fair. That's
Oh,
fair.
I see what you're saying. I think
Okay.
he just like respects him a lot.
He just respects him a lot, I think.
Maybe
You know-
Alfred's his favorite character
Yeah,
on all
yeah.
his Batman internet shows, and he calls him Master.
You know, I feel like by the end of the story we'll figure out which one of us.
Yeah.
So
Now,
dinosaur.
at this point, they start calling the Purple Batman Batman, right?
Yeah.
Bat
Makes it-
hyphen man.
Bat hyphen man. So can we just call him like Bat hyphen?
Bat hyphen.
Bat hyphen.
So Batman, for some reason, these guys are racist because Batman's like, "Oh, these writers are not involved dinosaurs like you," and they're like, "Oh, them de-evolved monkeys are like it."
So
and,
like the dino people hate the trolls,
and they hate the monkey people.
and they hate the monkey people who are like, I don't know. There's
So-
a lot of subspecies, and they all kind of look the same. I still don't know if trolls and gnomes are different in this world.
I don't. That's a good question.
Yes, they are.
Joe said it as if he's like looking up his Neal Adams gnome database.
Gnomes.
But they
Because
actually
they mentioned the gnomes without showing the gnomes, which is why it's really confusing.
I
And then
thought-
they show the gnomes.
I thought gnomes was like a racial slur for trolls at the beginning.
No, Dead Man corrects it. Because Dead Man knows all about
Yeah.
the underworld, although it's not the actual underworld. It's just
It's just
the underworld
under
is
the
like
world.
if you're familiar with the Savage Land in Marvel,
It's
this
just-
is
yeah.
it's essentially that. Except
It's
instead of
that.
Antarctica, it's underneath the ground.
It's that, but instead of Kazar, it's filled with LSD.
so they actually recapped the entire page where Batman gets thrown off his mount, so making the entire intro flashback pointless.
Oh, it was pretty awesome, so I'm fine with it.
So then they have another flashback. They have flash forward
Joe
to
just gave me the worst look.
I stand by my statement that you could skip 3 issues and it'll be fine.
they flash forward to Batman and Primus looking for Batman. Then they flash back
Wait,
to
Hyphen Man and Primus or Batman and Primus?
I'm gonna call it Jamrock. Fuck you, Ryan.
Jamrock?
whatever. Yeah, Purple Batman and Primus.
I guess it's Purple Batman.
Purple Batman
Batman.
and Primus are looking for Batman, and then they flash back to what happened to Batman after he got shot from Rock.
And
And Batman-
Batman.
And Batman's trying to steal another raptor, and while he's doing it, he says, "I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I love it."
I like that Joe tried to slow down Sly, and Sly was like, "Nope, gonna disregard the song and just plowing through this plot."
No, I think that's fine. Yes, he should.
Joe was adding dramatic theme music.
So he got.
He can't focus on this plot and anything else because it's too crazy.
So he got the dinosaur, and then then it's a good thing he got the dinosaur because he gets killed by the natives.
Okay, Joe.
The natives all murder the dinosaur.
Yeah, whatever. Good
And
riddance. Good riddance to bad dinos.
then they meet a bunch of other dinosaur people,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, another Batman, but this isn't Purple Batman, Bat-Man."
This isn't our Batman. Who's this Batman?
Is this Batman wearing hockey pads?
Yeah, and and they're like, "Oh, this is a pussy Batman. Let's beat him up." And then Batman just like, "Oh no, you won't," and he beats him up instead.
Is this when he rips his helmet off, and his cowl off, and he's like, "Does he have a disguise like this, or is that later?"
I think it's close to this.
It's basically the same exact scene where they're like, "You're a purple Batman. He's a master of disguise." And then he's like, "Does he have a disguise like this?" And he pulls his head off, his cowl off.
His head off.
He pulls his head off. He pulls his cowl off, and he doesn't look like a crazy Neanderthal man. And like, oh, "You're not purple Batman. You're real Batman. You're
Yeah.
Batman.
So then,
I'm not wearing hockey.
so then,
I'm so glad you like that reference. It's my favorite.
I love that actually.
so then Primus shows up with Jamroth, and Primus reveals he's Prince Primus. He's a prince of these people. He's running around like in the fucking Robin costume, whatever.
It's not a Robin costume. It has a P instead of an R.
Oh,
It's a
I'm
cosplay,
sorry.
Sly. It's not a costume.
Yeah.
And then, and you said that Deadman convinced Robin.
I think Deadman might have tried to convince him to not go, and he went.
He went anyways.
I think Bruce tries to convince him to not go.
So Robin goes to the underworld anyway. So Deadman's entire infiltration of Robin pointless. Infiltration of whatever. Infiltration Of
Whoa, that was a different scene.
infiltration of Alfred.
I think the Deadman penetration scene really stood out to me.
And then the natives start eating dinner, and Batman's like, "Oh, you're eating dinosaurs?" And they're like, "Yeah, but they're dumb animals." And he's like, "Yeah, but they're your ancestors. That's like us eating monkeys." And Prime's like, "Oh, but some humans eat monkeys." And
It's like a PSA where it's like, but some people, some different cultures to eat monkeys, and Batman's like, yeah, some of us do eat monkeys.
some people eat monkeys.
Some of us do eat monkeys, cats, and dogs, so I guess it's fine they were eating these dinos.
Doesn't he snap at them right afterwards?
yeah, he does. He's like, "Ha ha! Yes, yes, it's true. Some people eat monkeys and dogs and cats, and we eat everything. And to do it, we kill everything." And Jammer's like, "Batman, are you alright?" Like, "Yeah, I'm alright." But then this piece of shit right here, and just starts pointing at people saying, "You're a piece of shit."
Batman has like really big problems with the fact that he's like surrounded by these people who are kind of on Ra's al Ghul's side, but not really.
Yeah,
I
he's like,
think Batman is treating this like a bad trip, and he's just like, whatever.
Batman's like, "Oh, what a nice civilized place." Like, wait, you all condone Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
I hate you.
He
Yeah.
does this again later with a
He
bunch
does.
of scientists.
He does this. I think he does it like one other time. too.
and they're like, apparently he's mad at them because they're taking the dinosaurs. And he's like, "Your animals are being taken and used in front of your eyes." And one guy's like, "We are fighting back." "Are you really? You are on the ground and they are on your mounts. But they are true killers, trained killers, and so are you. But we kill for food." And it keeps going on. But he's like, "You're a piece of shit." But like, we're not
Yeah,
assassins. We're literally not assassins.
Yeah, Batman's really mad at them. The fact that like they're not like military grade like assassins, and the
Yeah.
people they fighting who take their dinosaurs and resources are. It's like, you need to stand up for yourselves and do stuff. I'm Batman.
Yeah, and he's like calling them all murderers because they like eat other living things.
Yeah.
He's like there's somewhere between like like being murderers but not being murderers enough.
Yeah, like I don't get his argument
Yeah.
at all in this whole book ever.
So, and then he points around at people saying, "Oh yeah, and you betrayed the whatever the fuck you guys are, Hapak, and you Pitak Hatak." And this is the first time I've ever met these characters, and he's pointing them like he knows
It's
them.
the only time we ever meet these characters.
And these guys apparently, he's like, "Oh,
And
I
they're
see you.
awful names.
I see you've got all these new wives. Where'd you get them, huh?" And he's like, "Oh, the Ra's al Ghul pay you off of these wives to steal your horses."
Oh, because Batman's
raptors.
under the impression that these people have kidnapped Talia, right?
No, not these people.
But
So he just hates these people indiscriminately?
no, because
Is he yelling at the people they've captured, or the townspeople who he criticized for not being murderous
no,
enough,
he's basically
but
because
also being murderers?
basically he's mad that the Raptors are being ridden by Ra's al Ghul's men, not by these people.
What? Is this supposed to be a, like, metaphor for something? Like,
No, I just think
imperialism or something? There has to be something.
No, I don't. I just think he's crazy.
And they're like, "What's the big deal? Like, we plant food. There's plenty for all. We don't need the animals." And he's like, "This is we made a good deal. We got food for ourselves. We got wives, and we don't have to fight the Rosmen. And we don't have to fight these raptors. It's great." And Batman's like, "No, you're a piece of shit."
Yeah, he's really mad at these people for like, because the way I got Ra's al Ghul seemed to be the previous overlord of this place, and it seems like he's mad at them for siding with Ra's al Ghul and letting him.
He's working with Ra's al Ghul
Exactly. Exactly, while his butler waits hand and foot and serves Ra's al Ghul
He's not
tea
serving
in his
him. He
house.
told Ra's al Ghul to fuck off and left him with that tea
Yeah.
or whatever.
He still brought him tea.
How dare
And
you?
tea. That might have been the tea that you have to go through 4 steel doors for.
So Batman's basically like saying like, "Oh, you're letting evil happen while you're doing this, and that makes you evil. Fuck you all." And then after he says this, they're like, "Okay, I guess you're right, Batman." And they murder. They start murdering the two guys. It's
The
like, I guess you're-
POWs.
And they're like, "Wait, what? What are you doing? No, don't do that. No, don't. Wait, that's not the way. Whoa, oh, Lord. This is very bad. This is very, very bad. I knew this was gonna be a good day."
As he stands in front of over these two murdered bodies of like the POWs.
That he convinced them to murder.
For not being murderous enough.
And this is a fact anything else later on. Like they're murderous.
Nothing factors in. I think we should stop saying that because literally nothing factors into anything.
Here's the thing. The funny part is, like, in the previous book, I kind of, like, I could at least, like, there are parts of Batman that I could recognize as, like, previous decades. Like, the only thing...
This is the future of Batman. This is what Batman will one day become if we are lucky.
Yeah. This is a new. This would have been Nolan
Yeah.
Nolan movie number 4.
No, but we get to, like... part of me thinks this is, like, the World War II Batman, who, like, was, like, the war hero.
No,
and,
but
like,
he goes
fought-
on a long rant about how he'll never take a life and, like...
No, but eventually later on, though, when he gets to the big battle scenes, that is the only place I could place this Batman. And even then, I don't think it's a great, like, homage to him.
You don't
Because-
think this is great?
I said great homage. Not necessarily, this book isn't great.
Is it great?
I agree. I think it's great.
I think it's
So
I could take
S stands for excellent. Huh?
No, like here's like while this was out, like I found this part still kind of outlandish. I thought it dragged a whole lot more than the first one did, and it wasn't crazy enough for me. Does that make sense?
No, I understand.
I think it's crazy. No, it's just that it's just so crazy to have a grounding in it for me in the beginning. Like I like the first part because it's familiar Batman and then crazy twists on it. Well, this is Batman fighting raptors, crazy shit happening. Like you have no grounding whatsoever, so the crazy shit doesn't have much impact for me in the beginning.
I also feel like, even though I really enjoyed the second half, I feel like the first half was like a roller coaster where every issue was a totally crazy different story.
Yeah.
Where this is 7 issues of the same story,
Yeah.
and it's exploring crazy things in the same plot, which makes it much easier to follow, but harder to page turn.
This feels like after the first half, somebody went to Neal Adams and said, "You have
Calm
to,
down.
You have to tell a good actual story of this book."
Maybe that's why there was that big break. Maybe he had to like rework it.
You
a
have to actually
little
write an actual script. Like, holy shit, what the fuck is this concept?
I liked it better the first one.
So then Robin follows Batman down to the underworld, and
bit. He's taking like a different path. He runs into all these like
he goes back. He goes to the trolls too. He goes to the trolls.
Troll 2?
The troll toll.
He goes to the troll, and then to pay the troll toll, they bite him, and they're like,
But they're like, give me a little nibble.
yeah, ooh, just a little nip. Please, don't, no need to be rude. We're just looking for a little nip. You'll hardly miss it. Or he's like, oh, I'll miss it, you dirtbag. Just like you're gonna miss your face in a minute. Then he punches the guy.
And it twists his head around and
Yeah.
snaps his neck.
Yeah, so that guy's dead.
He just
Unless
super
trolls
murders
are
him.
like owls and can have their heads turn almost entirely around, he's probably dead. He looks really dead.
Neal Adams has done nothing to imply that trolls are like owls.
But trolls are like gnomes.
Are gnomes like owls? Can we transitive this where trolls are owls?
Correlation.
That reminds me of a parody comic where everyone's animals and there's a spy breaking into a place and he snaps everyone next to break in. Then he tries to snap the owl's neck and the owl just looks at him and just shoots him in the back.
That sounds awesome.
So
Is that a new Pixar movie?
Zootopia 2.
Zootopia 2?
So then Batman, Robin's just being the shit out of these guys, and then Dead Man shows up, and now he's tangible.
So he's usually a corporeal ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he's like a full
Who
dude.
people can't see or hear.
Yeah.
And now he's solid. And they put some, like, wiki-walkie, like, oh, well, in certain places and stuff, I can be...
The
you know,
magnetic field of the Earth. Or
something. I can be, solid for a period of time in, like, the right location.
He seems very surprised about it at first, and then immediately has an explanation.
Yeah. And then he has a frying pan out of nowhere, and he's just beating the shit out of people with a frying pan. And Robin just stops and watches him and says, "Frying pan's a very good idea." And, like, if you didn't know he's going to be intangible, where do you get a frying pan
His
from?
butt.
Okay.
Where do you keep your pots and pans, Sly?
So then they get the bats from the people after beating the shit out of them, and then they get the bats, and they ride the bats
From the trolls, not the gnomes.
from the trolls. Not the gnomes yet. I was confused by the gnomes
Yeah.
trolls dynamic.
Because gnomes,
Because Robin calls them gnomes.
but they're not gnomes.
But they're not
But
gnomes,
later
they're
on,
troll.
they'll introduce gnomes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not David the Gnome. Do you guys remember David the Gnome?
What's
I
it
remember
called?
the last episode where he died.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
What? I haven't finished. It's not. The last season's not on Netflix yet. You spoiled David the Gnome.
Let's say with the gnome.
It's some show from like the late 80s.
It's like this
early
really
90s.
good, really goofy kids show. And the last episode is like he has to die, so it's him and his wife saying goodbye to everyone, and his wife's crying like, "I don't want to die, David. I want to die," and then they die at the end.
What the fuck?
Do they get stepped on? Like,
I don't know. It's like they live too long or something like that. I forget.
God. Oh my God! I think we have to do an episode on David the Gnome.
So then Batman meets these random people, and it's Merlin and two aliens.
And it is like a
oh no, it's
comical.
Sylvester. It's not Merlin.
It's a comical looking.
He has
Merlin.
a name.
Merlin's name is Sylvester.
He's in like a bright blue robe with like stars and moons all over.
He is
it.
the atypical, like, wizard.
From like a My Little Pony cartoon.
yeah.
I've never seen My Little Pony. Are there
If it was
wizards?
My Little Pony cartoon, he'd be a pony, Ryan.
Okay, what's his? He's like a Smurfs wizard.
If he was a Smurfs wizard, he'd be blue, Ryan.
Okay, I'm saying he's a wizard in the Smurfs world, like Garugamesh or whatever that guy's name is.
Ryan, that's really dumb.
Gargamel.
Okay, Gargamel.
You're sounding stupid. You should probably stop.
Fine, I won't keep talking about late '80s cartoons anymore.
Speaking of late '80s cartoons,
He's like a wizard from Transformers. No, he's not, Ryan, because he'd be a Transformer then.
Okay, it looks like a wizard and alien action figures from a 4-year-old's toy box.
yeah.
Correct.
And so then Batman.
Nailed it.
About time, Ryan.
Done in one.
They never explain who these guys are really, and Batman has a conversation with Merlin. He's like,
Also, Sylvester, the Merlin wizard, is a jazz magician, and they mentioned that offhandedly, and he just talks in like hip slang from the 70s.
I was gonna read this line. Batman's like, Sylvester, yo, clarinet, right? Right on, how? Lip. All right. The magic, it's real. It drove us underground. Modern witchcraft. Got it. Cool. That's all the explanation they give about
so
this.
weird.
I really have to imagine that, like, these are all characters who showed up somewhere in, like, Neal Adams' prior work. And
Maybe.
he's bringing him here.
If
I'd see-
anyone is really well versed in Neal Adams, please shoot us an email.
If Neal Adams wants to shoot us an email,
Tell us
let
about the
know.
Sylvester, the jazz playing magician, and we will read that comic.
Because we actually love this.
Do you know I would pay top dollar for a full annotated Batman Odyssey? I think that would be wonderful.
Mr. DiDio, this is going out to you.
DC, make this happen. Give me an
DC.
absolute. I will pay $125 for one of those giant hardcovers of an annotated.
He bought the Final Crisis one. He will absolutely
Final
do
Crisis one's
this.
beautiful. It comes with 3D glasses, Joe.
So,
He bought
3D?
it.
It's in 3D?
It's not important.
Okay.
Two issues are.
are.
And they're the best 2 issues.
So,
Smurfs, right, guys?
Then he-
Smurfs.
then they fight the Sensei's men, aka Roz's former men, or something like that. I don't know the power dynamics in this Game of Thrones scenario they have. here.
Sensei takes a lot of the League of Assassins.
So,
Also, later on, it's revealed that most of the men are actually Ra's al Ghul's men, and Ra's al Ghul's men are actually the Sensei's men, so it doesn't matter.
Everybody love everybody.
so then Batman's fighting, but he doesn't want to kill people. Meanwhile, Purple Batman's like has a big machine gun, and a big Gatling gun. He's just mowing down people, saying, "Come on, this is an equal opportunity destroyer."
Yeah, what?
And then this is when Batman realizes he has super strength down here because the gravity is so low, and he picks up a tank and throws at people, and he's like, "Lord, it's like bowling."
For the record, gravity is indirectly related to the square of the distance between them. So as you get closer to the center of mass, and as the core gets more dense, the gravity should be stronger, not weaker. Just like that, my bachelor's in physics is worth it.
Batman's just having a field day, like flipping over tanks. He'd be like, "Oh my god, this is great! I can't believe I realized this just now."
This is what it's like to be Superman.
And then
Martha.
Martha,
and then
save Martha.
the mentions 3 of the banished mages joined forces against an armored vehicle. It was no direct assault. These 2 other mages, I don't even think show up in the previous page.
Nope.
And they didn't mention there were banished mages. Where were they banished from?
Don't
Why?
worry about it.
And they never show up again. It's the last time they were mentioned. And the aliens didn't even show up in the fight. So
No, the aliens just show up for that one scene and disappear.
and then Sensei shows up, and he's like, I simply challenge you, master to master. And he wants a 1-on-1 duel with Batman, and he takes off his shirt and
1v1 me.
1v1 me, noob. You call me noob,
You say I noob?
I 1v1 you. NVM G2G.
That is literally what happens in this fight. They say 1v1 me, they fight for a little bit and tie, and Sensei goes, never mind, and then leaves. And Batman lets him leave, and he tells the narrator, I'll tell you what we talked about later.
Yeah, but there's one scene where Batman has his blades out for his and if you watch Batman Begins, he uses his blades on his gloves as
Like on his forearms.
as a way to catch blades, catch like knives and stuff.
His forearms.
Yeah.
He was a Spider Batman.
But he has them open, and he retries them in the middle, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot." And Sensei's just like, "A wise man forgets nothing." And then the blades are back in the next panel. So what was the point of that scene?
Yeah, you forgot.
Batman's like, you know what? You're right. Fuck you. I'm using the blades.
So
You're right, I remember now.
And then Batman punches him in the face, and he says, "Had I drawn blood?" And Sensei's like, "Did you expect blood?" "Yes. You're a man of great control. There should have been blood."
So he has so much control that he doesn't even bleed. That's a thing that you could do, I guess.
There you go.
So then,
As someone who's gotten like 3 paper cuts not today, this past couple days, I wish I could just not bleed everywhere all
Ryan
the time.
is not a man of great control.
and then Sensei's mad about him because Batman's like, "You have to kill me," and Batman's like, "I'm not gonna kill you," and then he walks off, and a bunch of other guys try to stop him, and he just one-shots them as they're trying to stop him. Like,
He like alters them without even like touching them.
yeah, a rocket flies at him, and he makes 3 directs with a fist.
Yeah.
What were these powers while he was fighting Batman? How was Batman able to hold anything to this guy?
I don't know.
So then Batman's like, "I miss Robin," at the end. End of issue.
Yeah, at the end of his like capade through like this warfare, he's like, God, I miss Robin.
Well, Robin's gonna come back with a bang soon.
And then here's when Deadman explains, "Those were trolls, not gnomes." And he's like, "No, here are gnomes that we're gonna meet." It's very, very good to have people call people what they aren't, so that they don't be confused when they meet what they actually are.
Joe pointed this out a lot. Neal Adams does this thing a lot in this book where he has a reveal that means nothing to us, and then later on, like 2 pages later, he'll explain it like that was his dad or like something.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
That was his mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get a thing, a reveal, and then he'll cut. The next issue will be like the conversation with the mystery person, and he's like, "That was actually such and such a thing that we did.
Sometimes
Here's this plot device, the explanation of that cliffhanger from
Sometimes
the previous
it's even
part."
in the same issue.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like someone will die, and then someone will be sad about it, and then 2 pages later, he'll be like, "That was his son." It's like, why didn't you tell me that first?
Yeah.
So I could feel something.
So I can feel any kind of emotion for this, as
Yeah.
opposed
Yeah.
to like that.
So then Boston, Brand, Deadman, and Robin hijack some birds. Then they crash the birds, and then they fly them again. Oh, I guess they're taming them. I don't know, whatever. But then so they have to part ways because Deadman.
I think it was like in Avatar where they have to put their plugs into the things before that.
Yeah, this is the dead man penetration scene I was talking about.
I see you, Robin. So then they split off because Deadman has to do something I still don't understand. He has to get a key, I think. I don't know. And then
He does. He has to get a key.
and then
He's got to see a guy about a dog.
so since they have internet down here, Robin checks his iPhone.
So this is a world with iPhones, but not coffee makers.
Yeah. So then Robin realizes, because he looks up and finds out Boston Brand was killed.
He Googles dead man.
Yeah, and then he finds out he died by trapezing.
Just Google.
And he's
it.
like, "My parents would die by trapezing. The League of Assassins must have killed them as a test for the League of Assassins. And that's why my parents died too. I made this logical leap without no one helping me. This makes perfect sense."
He's a great detective.
World's greatest detective.
Has anyone seen the Joker?
So Batman goes to the Library of Alexandria, And he's like, Library of Alexandria, this is fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, because they saved it. It's underground.
They have a lot of stuff apparently in this city, like the internet and scientists.
No, it's not the internet. It's the intranet. I'd really like to think that this is crazy old Neal Adams, not crazy old Maurice, crazy old Neal Adams' view of how the internet works. That like he just assumes that our internet is run by like dinosaurs underground.
That's all Reddit is.
Yeah.
So then Batman looks at all these cool shit. He's like, wow, this is great internet, TV. And then he looks at he notices all the people from that used to work at Wayne Tech, and he's like,
They're humans.
yeah, they're humans.
They're
And
not
he's like,
dinos or trolls or gnomes or ape people or whatever.
he's like, wow, you all disappeared with your families. Now you're here.
And he recognizes every single person.
Yeah.
Even though they've been disappeared for like 40 years.
And he's like, and the most amazing thing is not one of you are under 85 years old. And he's like, yes, Ra's al Ghul made us young.
And they all look young.
Yeah, Fields of Lazarus.
And then, like, just like before, you ran around, he switches saying, yes, Ra's al Ghul made you young, you piece of shit. Fuck you.
Yeah. And he criticized them for like raising their children down here.
Well, apparently they did bad stuff. So Ra's al Ghul offered them like asylum. One of them at least.
They work for Ra's al Ghul, and I think that the point of both Batman's tirades is that not stopping a Batman from doing bad things. You're doing bad things yourself.
He also says that.
But he switches so fast,
Yeah.
and he gets so mad at them.
He also says that like you guys did bad things, and Ra's al Ghul offered you this asylum down here, and you've condemned your children and grandchildren to the same life underground, without their like they don't know the world above to make this decision.
So they were parents.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, screw you, Batman.
They're like he's kind of pushing for them to do like that Amish thing where they spend a year in the regular world and see if they still want to be
It's
Amish.
not a year. It's like 2 weeks.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I'm not. I know. Okay, if there was there a late '80s children's cartoon about the Amish, Joe? I don't know anything about it.
GI Amish.
GI Amish.
So the next scene is Dead Man's beating up the shit out of the.
Can we just think about GI Amish for 1 second? How awesome an idea that is.
I'm picturing the Sumbo animation. Snake Eyes is just an Amish guy who doesn't talk.
It just cuts to Dead Man fighting the Troll King, and
This man's really having his way with the Troll King.
yeah, he's just the Troll King, and then he takes the key. This is the first time you ever see the Troll King. First time you ever see the key. And
Every time you ever see, it's not the Troll King, it's the Gnome King.
I don't fucking know this.
It's the Gnome King, Sly.
I'll take
What's his name? Etchik or whatever.
Epoch.
Yeah, that's Gnome King.
Okay, so Epoch. Gnomes and trolls look exactly alike, except one has a slightly lighter shade of skin color, I guess.
But the inking is so heavy on this book. It's
Yeah.
so hard to tell.
So Dead Man gets the key, and he's like, yeah, take the key, get the fuck out of here.
It's the Gnome King though.
What the fuck? and then he's like,
No,
yeah,
that's important. It's the Gnome King. It's not the Troll King. It's the Gnome King.
A king, Epoch.
It's the Gnome King.
Epoch
Why
says
won't
the
you
Gnome
say
King.
it?
Epoch,
Say what kind of king he is.
the Gnome King.
There we go. Thank you,
The
Sly.
Gnome King says, go on, take the key, get the fuck out of here. And Dead Man's like, oh, I will return, count on it. And I will bring 2 furies of such race that every kin you call yours will fall before them like metal in the hottest forge. And you will do their will and forever tremble when you hear their names. What are the 2 names? So that I may know them. Hombre Morcelgo and Flerdemenman. Hombre Morcelgo and Flerdemenman. Can you explain to me what this fucking scene has to do with anything?
So Dead Man is threatening the Gnome King and saying, if you don't do right by your people, I will bring 2 gods from the surface to destroy you. And then he goes, basically the Gnome King is saying, tell me their names so I can worship them from afar and try to earn their favor before you bring their wrath upon us. And Dead Man says gibberish words and the Gnome King repeats them. And I think Dead Man's fucking with them, and he's like, I'm going to start a whole fucking religion down here with the Gnome King.
I think it'd run with Fran Salvich Skalnaskavitsky from Dodgeball.
I wish it was Art Vandal.
So Robin shows up with Dead Man just for no reason except to say, I'm going to go after Roz, even though I was going to do that before.
The Sensei.
Oh, what a sensei, whatever. And
Sly, you don't know the difference between Roz and the Sensei. You don't know the difference between trolls and gnomes. You don't know the difference between Batman and Purple Batman. Why are you doing this? Why are you
You
running
wanna
this
take over,
episode?
Ryan?
No,
You're
absolutely
really on
not.
the ball last episode.
then, yeah, when I thought
do
Batman
this?
was going up the train, I thought Batman was doing this and that.
Oh, I take it back. Yeah, you're awful.
You just flew too close to the sun, my boy.
Yeah.
And now you are swimming with the gnomes.
So then they go and fight Robin goes to fight Sensei, Dead Man goes to meet Batman.
Sly, you're doing great, by the way.
Nah, he's a pile of shit.
And then they go to an Egyptian temple, and here they meet Anubis.
Yeah, Anubis.
And Anubis is like, give me
And
some
he looks
light.
like the Egyptian Anubis, like the big like cat
Yeah, the jackal.
jackal. That's the word I was looking for. It's a jackal.
It's a jackal?
It's a jackal.
It's a jackal?
So what is he trying to get that this Anubis is guarding from the scientist?
The key?
The key to what?
I don't know.
Okay.
To the behind the door. The key that they will reveal later on his
Is he
Odyssey.
trying to get keys to open those big steel doors from the beginning?
No.
Oh,
Hey.
thought it was like
Those keys, those are not the main thing. Those
Thought it was like
They're
getting
actually
stuck in the
keys-
water
they're
temple.
keys so that he won't get stuck in Castle Quest.
oh, okay.
So then he punches the guy. He says, "That's a kiss, direct from Mike Tyson," and he beats the shit out of.
See, it's not 1970s Batman, right? He made a Mike Tyson reference.
Yeah, because of the new Easter egg that they just found in Punch Out.
And
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 then
I'm
he-
dating the podcast.
And then,
Oh
he,
no.
and then he beats the shit out of Anubis, and Anubis is like,
Will never be timely now.
"Gods attend me," and then the big hippo shows up, and he's like,
Yeah, why is this big hippo here?
"That bad thing struck me foully. He's half your size. He has magics. Get him!"
So now there's all these anthropomorphic animals fighting him. This is truly Zootopia 2: Revenge of the Sloth.
Yeah. And then he's like, "What's up going on, Engineer Anderson? We are sorely vexed by this attack. Arr." And Batman's
Hey,
like,
pirates?
"Good, roll your head off, you big fat genetic freak accent." "No, that was your mother, wasn't it?"
Whoa! I
"Don't tell
remember
my
that
mother, you costume clown." Roar.
Yeah, I don't know why Batman's bringing the mothers into this.
Yeah.
And so it turns out these guys were genetic freaks from his world, and they come down here and pretend to be gods.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
They also snuck into the Batcave and
Yeah.
found their way to the underworld.
Yeah, they're Art Vandelay and whatever name you said from Dodgeball.
So this is the first time we learned about them ever. Unless they were, unless they were another Neal Adams story, and here we learned that they became gods down here. I don't know.
He does like the opposite of what James Robinson does in Cry for Justice, where he over-explains everything. Neal Adams doesn't explain anything. We can't tell if these are new characters. We can't even tell if these characters were in earlier in the story.
Or if they had tails.
Or if they had tails.
So then Batman shows up and he's like, "I have the key." And he says, "Oh yeah, by the way, Robin's down here." And he's like, and then Batman has the key, and the hippo's like, "I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, Batman." And Anubis is like, "Hang on, old friend. He has the key. He has a friend of the gods. He has the key. He has the key." And he just beats the shit out of the hippo guy. This key is very super important. That if you have it, you can't fight him whatsoever.
For our listeners at home, every time Slide did the Anubis voice, he put up the devil horns like a rock and roller to represent Anubis's ears, going towards Osiris, the sun god.
And this is where it turns out that Sensei gives Batman a call and says, "We have Robin." And
Calls him on his iPhone. I think they're FaceTiming, actually. They are, right? It's a video chat?
I guess so. It's a Skype call. and then he's like, "You come to my house, Batman."
You come into my house, you fuck my wife?
And he's like, "You come here and we will fight again, and you kill me, I guess." And Batman's like, "Blah blah, pratter on, you small-minded fool," and he blows up Robin. Press of the button.
He hits the button and he explodes Robin.
And Anubis is like, You blew Robin up. We have important work ahead, life and death work. He put himself right in the way. I told him not to come here." And one guy that was next to Robin is clearly dead. Another guy, his arm has been exploded off and he's bleeding to death. And he's like, "I'm dying, help me. Oh my god, my arm." So later on, Batman says, "I can't kill." He just kills those two guys.
Oh, definitely.
Those guys are dead.
Oh, they're definitely dead.
And so next issue opens with Batman talking to the mysterious figure from last time, and Batman giving some vitamin C to the guy.
Vitamin C pills.
Vitamin C pills.
I don't know why I corrected you. That doesn't matter.
And the guy, because the guy they reveal later on needs vitamin C pills.
Yeah, definitely. Are you following the clues? So far, he listens to Batman. He is surprised by coffee machines. He has bandages on his hands, and he needs vitamin supplements.
I don't understand that.
And he asked Batman to put a shirt on.
Knowing who this guy is at the end, I don't understand the vitamin supplements.
I don't understand any of it. Why did he ask Batman to put a shirt on? Hint, in one of our previous episodes, he would never ask Batman to put a shirt on.
I just realized they didn't make this clear. They explain some dialogue later on. The reason why Anubis fights the hippo is because Dead Man enters his body after he gave him the key.
Yeah, duh.
And,
Oh, and Batman's like, I knew it was Dead Man because he's right-handed.
oh yeah, and then Robin shows up and he's like, "I'm alive." And Batman's like, "I had a bullshit device that it's an armor that Robin wears around."
It
his
only explodes outwards. It's like, he basically compares it to like being in the eye of the storm.
That's how explosions work.
Do you know what would have been better?
Yeah.
Like a claymore.
Like a What's a claymore again?
It's
Isn't
a
it-
thing that like it explodes outwards. It's like a military thing.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
it's like a tripwire type
I
device.
thought it was a big sword.
That would make much sense, Joe. You can't have that here.
Is there a big sword that has a name like Claymore?
Yes, in Final Fantasy.
It's called Claymore, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm thinking
Okay.
Phantasy Star Online, but whatever.
Okay. You would, wouldn't you?
You fucking
Yeah.
nerd.
Yeah, whatever.
I like me and my Final Fantasy habits.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, so then they're like, we gotta go stop Sensei. They get some dinosaurs, more dinosaur riding. Joe's favorite thing.
There's so much
You're just an
dinosaur riding.
anti-dino.
I'm not. I want them to do other stuff in this book.
Anti-reptite?
See,
Is
Batman-
that good?
Batman
That's what I
does.
said before. And you fucking stole my
Did
joke
you?
now. Yes, you
Yeah.
fucking piece
Oh.
of shit.
Here's the thing. Batman
I
does
said
so.
actually I said anti-dynite.
Let me
Anti-reptite
finish.
is better.
You're right.
Oh my god! Just are you done
Just-
with your joke?
No.
Ha 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 ha.
What do you got, Joe?
I don't want to go now. No, just like in the first part, Batman does so many different things, and in this one, he just rides around on like giant bats and dinosaurs.
You're right. This is awesome.
I miss the variety of part one.
Joe was the most excited for this one too. He's like, don't spoil anything for me. I think he hyped up too much for himself. He's like,
I don't think I did because I didn't know what to expect.
no, we said, is there dinosaurs? The next one's gonna be great. Oh my god, there's dinosaurs in this one. Fucking hell.
No, but I didn't think it was just gonna be dinosaurs.
Yeah,
It's not just
nothing but
dinosaurs.
dinos.
There's also trolls. Joe, there's also trolls.
And gnomes.
And gnomes.
Why?
And gnomes.
Wow, Sly really doesn't want to
You really
acknowledge
don't
these
like
gnomes.
gnomes, do you?
And actually, yeah, fuck gnomes.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Hardline stance. If
Sorry
the
to any,
anti-gnome
to
lobby
any
has gotten
gnome
to-
viewers we have, and gnome listeners is what I meant. Sorry.
Sorry,
apologies.
David the Gnome. But you're
Divisive
dead.
Issues does not say no to gnomes.
So then they start opening fire on
Make gnomes great again.
on the they start opening fire on the fucking guy on the Roz's men, and they're like, "Fucking dinosaurs, we're not ready for this fight."
I
And
love that you use your voice as if you're reading specific dialogue. You're like, fucking dinosaurs.
oh yeah, by the way, whenever I'm cursing, that's not what they're saying, but a lot of the other stuff is what they're saying. And then they're like, "What do we do here?" And Batman's like, "Lie down, idiots!" and just punches him in the face. And then Batman's like, "I got it. I can't kill it." Well, everyone else is like unloading heavy artillery on these guys with Gatling guns and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they keep fighting. This is where it gets boring because there's not a single notable thing here until
There's a lot.
There's a lot of just fighting.
Yeah,
There is. There's a lot of like fighting and just like dying. That's the thing. I felt like there was so much more actual substance in part one,
Yeah.
and this one it is like. Once I got over the initial the initial shock of like, oh, that's so cool, it's riding dinosaurs and stuff,
Yeah.
and then he just rides dinosaurs a lot.
And I would be to go back to what you said earlier. The fighting would be way more interesting and fun if he wasn't talking so much. There's so much dialogue.
If Neal Adams
for
just
no
kind of
reason.
let the art tell the story,
Yeah.
and the art's like very good in this.
I
Like,
really like his art still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost better if you were to read this if you just like ignored the words in some parts
Yeah.
and just let the art tell the
I
story.
feel like the pages that I zoned out, I was like really enjoying.
So then they meet these guys. They're like, "Take us to your gnome leader." And one guy's like, "I won't do it." So they break both his arms, and the guy's like, "Ow, my arms!" And he walks with his
They
arms.
really beat the shit out of this guy. They snap the bones in his arm.
yeah, they don't like this guy.
He's walking around with both his arms flaying around because they're both broken. And they meet the Gnome King. They talk.
Is it the Gnome King this time?
I think so.
Yes.
They talk. By the way, he has a pharaoh symbol on his head. I don't understand the whatever.
Yeah, it's a metaphor.
Oh yeah, Gnome King has the woman and
With the purple Batman's Talia.
Papa Miss Talia.
Alaska or whatever.
I don't know. I forgot.
Purple
she existed.
Talia.
I forgot she
Tascalia.
existed.
Purple Talia.
And the
Purple Talia.
Batman's like, "Talia, so much has happened. I need time to talk to you." You mean like a day? Sure, a day.
I love that Talia's still going for it hardcore no matter
Yeah.
what the situation.
She wants that big old smooch.
She wants the ring is what she wants.
And then they fight. The gnomes are like, fuck you, we're gonna kill you all."
The gnomes are just like, oh fuck.
Well, Son of King Gnome is like...
Okay, Son of King Gnome's like, "Kill them. This will not
It's
stand."
like, it's like we're gonna totally go back on our word.
Did
Yeah.
they say he's the son, or did
Yeah, they
say
say
that
kill
later?
for the prince, death for the strangers.
Okay.
But like you have to be paying attention really hard to realize the connection that they're saying death for the prince and he's our leader, and the gnome king kills him.
And I think our listeners know by now that I am not paying I'm not paying hard attention.
Yeah. So then they fight. Gnome king is like,
The king stabs the son.
yeah, the king
Yeah.
stabs the son.
So you couldn't tell that's a prince? Are you saying all gnomes look the same, Sly?
Yeah, fucking
Great.
gnomes. It's exactly like David the Gnome.
No, he doesn't. Don't you disparage David the Gnome.
I have no idea what David the Gnome looks like.
He looks like the lawn gnomes.
I'm just picturing like David Cross. That's like a gnome.
That David the Gnome reboot starring David Cross. Yes.
It'll be a good follow up to his work on the Smurf series.
Share a universe with GI Amish. It's gonna happen.
So then the king's like, I said my word, and my word's my bond, so I had to kill my prince, king, whatever.
His son.
Whatever. And the Batman's like, oh! And Robin's like, Chief, I'm not so sure coming here was such a great idea after all. Why did you come here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever. So then Talia and Batman argue about the king. Batman's like, that king's a piece of shit. And Talia's like, he's not that bad.
Yeah, Batman once again criticizing someone for being like too much of a murderer.
Yeah, Talia's
Yeah.
like, he is the king and his word is law. To hell with the law, he killed his son. Perhaps the boy won't die. Trolls have very different anatomy. He stabbed him in the heart. Gallbladder, actually. And then,
Oh, Talia, master of gnome anatomy.
then they fight the Rock, the legendary beast of legend.
Wait, The Rock? Like Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
ROC.
The Rock says.
The Rock.
The Rock says.
There's always saying about saying The Rock. Okay, Dwayne Johnson. They fight Dwayne Johnson. They beat Dwayne Johnson.
I'm gonna say Dwayne Johnson instead of the giant mythical bird.
Yeah. So they destroyed Legendary Beasts of Legend in 2 panels, and Purple Batman's like, holy shit, I never could do that this whole time. I became Batman because I didn't kill my family. What the fuck?
I don't even remember reading that.
Basically, he just says, it's part of the reason I became a tale for another day, friend. Basically, Batman's saying, I don't give a shit what you have
Oh,
to say.
what? Does Neal Adams think he's gonna get a fucking third miniseries?
I like that Purple Batman's about to open up about his past, and Batman's like, I don't give a shit. Shut the fuck up. Go. This has already been too long, 6 issues of this shit. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm running out of time.
6 issues. At this point, they're like 12 issues in.
Now, finally, the guy Batman's talking to is pointing out plot holes, saying, wait. You never said what we actually spoke to the fucking
Yeah.
sensei
We're gonna
about.
tell two things: the conversation with the sensei and what the hell the key was for.
Yes.
So then Batman's like, I'm gonna go by myself down where the key opens, and it's like a waterfall place. And here he meets the Cyclops.
Oh my god, can I please tell you about this?
Scott.
I want to be the one to tell you about this scene.
He's like,
So it's a big Cyclops.
Scott.
and he says, he calls him Batman, and he says, you are more than a Cyclops monster.
Don't point at me, Sly.
You are a monster, Ryan. You are more than a Cyclops monster. You are intelligent, civilized, and a telepath. And Cyclops is like, how the fuck did you know that? You call me Batman. Only telepaths know I'm Batman.
But they have the internet down
Yes,
here.
they have that down here.
But not behind that door though. That no one's opened with that key.
So, at this point, the Cyclops goes, in 20 seconds, impossible. I will pluck this scheme from your mind, and I will undo it. You are mad in... What? What? You'll use a Henway to defeat me? A Henway? What's a Henway? And Batman goes... About 2.5 pounds. Why do you ask? It turns a bright spotlight into his eye, and it pierces his brain.
Yeah.
And then Batman beats the shit out of him and leaves.
Basically, he was thinking stupid thoughts.
And
to
from his
confuse him.
family.
This is a joke
Yeah.
that I have told so many times. I'm just like, you got some up dog on your shoulder. What's up, dog? Nothing much. How about you? And he fucking beats the Cyclops by tricking him into saying, "What's a Henway?"
And then Batman's like, I'm gonna kill your dad. To basically the wife and kid of the Cyclops show up.
Yeah, after he restrains the Cyclops calls for like his family.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, I'm gonna murder you in front of your family.
And the Cyclops is like, I'm a telepath. I read his mind, and he's gonna murder me. And the kid's like, I read his mind. He's not gonna murder you. And Batman's like, the kid was smarter, so he realized the truth more than his dad. And like, okay,
Yeah. The Cyclops was like, don't backtalk me, boy.
If the dad is dumb enough to fall for a pun while reading the pun teller's mind, he's obviously a moron.
and and then they flash back to what they were saying while they were fighting.
When he said 1v1 me, you sad noob, NVM G2G. Now they're going to flash back and tell that conversation.
Batman says, I cannot give you death or life. And Sensei's like, but I can give you death, and so I am more worthy. So they're one up at each other, but
Yeah.
who can kill the other one,
And basically, Sensei wants Batman to kill him, and he says, if you don't kill me, I'm going to kill a bunch of people. Right? That's
Yeah,
pretty much the whole gist
like
of the
Talia.
conversation. Like Talia.
And then they climb back up to the surface, I guess, and Batman explains that Ra's al Ghul was behind the whole thing because Sensei didn't have the plan, and he realized this during the fight with
Yeah.
Sensei.
He realized that like while Sensei was threatening Talia, he didn't necessarily have her in his possession.
And
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul's one that actually ordered her
And
capture.
and there's one other character left in the story.
Yeah.
Who
So
kind of
Ra's al
been
Ghul
around.
kidnapped them to try to goad Batman into killing the Sensei.
Yes, he's kind of instigated this big battle between
Yeah.
them. Because he's Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, so Batman talks to Okay, now this is when
This is actually the one reveal in the book that I was like, oh, that's cool.
oh,
The Ra's al Ghul one.
I was about to say the reveal of who this guy Batman's speaking to is Superman. They reveal it casually. They just cut to Superman sitting there saying, "Oh, hey, Batman."
It's almost like they cut back and didn't realize the camera was on.
Yeah.
Because he's like supposed to be off panel, and he goes off panel again.
Yeah, and they treat it like a surprise later on.
Yeah. So they just cut to Clark Kent, and like he's just there, and he's like, "Oh, this is a crazy interview."
Yeah, and so Batman explains.
So we're in the last issue now.
Yeah, so then Batman says talks about killing for like a page, saying.
I never kill. I have to kill.
The
I
final
don't
lesson I
kill.
learned is if I can find a way, any way not to kill, that'll be my choice. And given that choice, I will never kill. And
But
so,
he's also like, but if I had to kill like to save an innocent or something, I
but then he
would
says,
do it.
"I'll give that choice. It doesn't matter if I have to kill because I'll find a way not to kill." What he says basically.
It's really hard to figure out if he wants to kill somebody.
Yeah, Batman is like, if I had to kill to save an innocent, I would.
But he
But
said-
I'd find another way because I'm Batman.
yeah,
Yeah.
but so that's
Essentially,
that's
that's-
exactly what
yeah.
he says. Like almost like
Like I would be willing to kill if I had to, but I will never have to.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
I'm Batman.
Yeah.
Because I'm
When
the
Neal
goddamn
Adams took a
Batman.
page to like kind of like write out, I kind of summed up in 2 sentences.
Yeah.
and then they show up to Ra's al Ghul, and Ra's al Ghul's like, it's like, Talia, you're safe, and he's like, I'm
This is my
safe.
favorite voice yet.
Yeah. Ra's al Ghul voiced by Sean Connery.
Voiced by Bane.
I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body, Talia. And Talia's like, I'm safe because my beloved crushed my kidnappers. Kidnappers and my father paid. My father paid! And she
punches him in the face.
punches him in the face.
No,
Here's
fuck.
another gift from Mike Tyson.
Yeah. And Batman's like, you scum! I feel like the word
Wait,
of...
that was the Batman voice?
No.
Yeah, no, it was. Continue.
You scum, Talia says. But, I noticed you scum seems to be the word of this comic. Like, Neal Adams loves to call people scum and
Yeah.
pieces of shit. Not pieces of shit. That's what I like to do. I like that word. And then this gets comical because Talia keeps punching him. Then she takes an urn and she's going to bash Ra's over the head of the urn until Batman just takes it from her.
It's like a husband taking away like the rolling pin from the wife when
Yeah.
she runs
Yeah.
at the kid.
But it's an urn.
Yeah.
It's like his parents' urn. Is
Probably. It's filled with his parents' fucking ashes, I bet. Martha.
And so they explain to him, like, oh, yeah, your plan didn't work. Batman's going to kill Sensei. Sensei's going to kill you now. Eat shit, Ra's al Ghul.
But he told the League that they're at Batman's house.
Yeah, but he, says,
Yeah.
like, he reveals that later. And,
No, he reveals it before. where
Yeah,
he's-
he
he's
says
talking
like
to
I told
Sensei.
they're on their way.
No, he's like which one? But he's like fighting with the sensei. He's like, your father's at some rich person's house.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so then...
It's a throwaway line, but like it's there.
And Ra's al Ghul's like, oh, is everyone leaving now? Everyone's just going to fucking ditch me, says Ra's al Ghul. And Batman's like, I got nothing. And he leaves.
You can just fuck right off.
Yup, and then walks out of the room.
And then, Alfred gives Ra's al Ghul tea. Ra's al Ghul's like, thank you, Alfred. You're the only one that understands me. I love you. And
Does
this,
Alfred understand him?
I think Ra's al Ghul thinks he does. I think he says something like, oh yeah, Alfred, the only mature person who will understand. In time, they will see. I doubt very much that, sir, says Alfred. And then Batman explains they told the League of Assassins to come here, and Ra's al Ghul killed the League of Assassins off panel, so the entire reveal was pointless. Ra's al Ghul's entire presence is pointless because Ra's al Ghul never punches for his crimes. Batman's like, I told him where you were, so you could get punished for what you did. And Ra's al Ghul's like, yeah, I killed everyone like one page.
Yeah.
Ooh, ouch, Batman,
Yeah.
ow.
He also sorts out his relationship like with Robin. Also, like,
Yeah.
quickly off panel.
Yeah.
The whole Robin like kind of being distrustful of Batman kind of
Yeah.
gets put to bed.
And then they
Very quickly.
they leave a note saying, and Batman reads it saying, the final challenge. Same bad time. Same
No,
bad
this
channel.
is actually the end of issue 6.
Yeah.
So this is issue 6.
Yeah.
So now the final issue.
Finally, he goes back to Arkham. He goes back to Arkham. They fight some trolls to get.
Are they trolls?
They are
Our
trolls.
resident expert, Joe, are they trolls or are they gnomes?
They are trolls.
They are.
They're blue.
let me
Blue
take a
skin
look.
is trolls. No, they're gnomes. Oh my god, I'm fucking wrong. Shit. They're gnomes. They're blue. It's not fair. It's not fair.
It's the lighting. It's too bad. They're gnomes.
And then they fight. They go back to where they fought Sensei last time with all the Batman rogues.
So
on
it has the
display.
same setting for the finale as the first miniseries.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what was the point of everything that happened? What was
Like
the
the
point of the Odyssey?
Ouroboros closing in on itself.
What was the point of the Odyssey? If they could just ended the.
He had to travel to get knowledge.
In the Odyssey,
he
doesn't
had to go to the underworld to get knowledge, and then return.
and then go to Jupiter to get more stupider.
No, but the classic Odyssey story is like in every kind of classic literature, the hero's journey. You have to go to the underworld to obtain some knowledge that you couldn't get.
The knowledge that
at
you
the
will not
upper
kill, I
level.
guess.
So the knowledge is essentially that
Ra's al
Ra's al
Ghul's a
Ghul is
big guy,
behind
yeah.
it. The problem is it takes 6 issues of dinosaur writing for Batman to realize this.
Yeah.
It actually makes it more profound because he realizes he cannot kill, and his mission is to kill Sensei. So he comes back saying, "I cannot kill you." So it's a deep
But
story.
that's what he said at the beginning too.
Oh yeah.
But he
yeah.
would kill Sensei if he had to save an innocent
But
life.
he
he
will
won't
always make
have
the
to,
choice.
Because he's Batman.
Yeah.
So then they fight.
6 issues.
Sensei's like, "I want 1v1 me again, noob." and then
This time in front of all the Batman rogues. For the record,
We're
the
still in their
gorilla with the
cages.
baseball cap is still there.
Well, he's my favorite one.
well now we have the hippo and the Anubis fighting too. It's not as weird.
It's not as weird.
Not as weird. And then so I want fighting. Sensei punches Batman in the spine, and Batman catches his fist with
With his shoulder blade.
with his shoulder blade and uses his shoulder blades to flip Sensei. I'm pretty sure you can't do that.
He's Batman.
I'm Batman.
He'd find a way.
He'd
Just
find
like
a way.
he'd find a way not to kill.
I would never catch someone's arm with my shoulder blades unless I had to.
Because I'm Batman.
So then they fight, and this is weird. Batman,
Oh, this is weird, says Sly.
and he's like, Sensei, you have great knowledge for many years of study. Too many years for you to catch up. My glory and my curse. Your weakness too, Sensei. I have no weakness. You have 2. Oh? Why not 5 or 10? 2. What? Only 2. And his weakness is, you have so many skills. You can only use 2 one at a time. So I am your equal. That's not how that fucking works. You don't use skills at one at a time.
That's not how that works. He's not the fucking hyper adaptoid.
So what happens is, after he shoulder throws him, he if you ever watch Three Stooges or any like Marx Brothers skit where a person hides behind somebody and shadows them basically, and the person's like turn around, it's like where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Like, yeah.
That's what Sensei does to Batman. Like it's like a comedy skit where Batman he basically shadows Batman's movements, and Batman's trying to circle around repeatedly looking for Sensei, and Sensei's just right behind him.
They're 1 degree away from them looking into the mirror and emulating the old Groucho routine.
That is one of the big centerpieces of the fight scene. And Sensei says, "You see, I am better than you because I can do that. See, I can do it. I can do the Three Stooges bit on you." Batman says, "You do that for an audience, but this is serious."
What?
What? And so then he's like, "Oh, your second weakness is that you have rage and you suck when you're raging." And
You suck because your face is
I thought he
stupid.
had a third weakness.
no, he says I should have a third weakness, and Batman's like, "No, you only have 2. I'm pretty sure of it."
He definitely has a third weakness that Batman mentions really soon.
Let me see.
That he
It's a
is
secret
slowing
weakness.
down.
And so
He's slower than he was the first and second
no,
time
he said
saw
he
it.
says your rage because your rage.
No, his age.
Your age. Oh, I'm an idiot. He says your age. Your age is your weakness. You are some an idiot.
Yeah, his age.
Why am I reading this fucking story?
Oh, it's so great.
And Ra's al Ghul is like, "Oh, you have to kill him. Would you rather have this monster as master or me?" And Robin's like, "Neither, you big old bag of chips."
I want to start calling people big old bag of chips.
Big old bag of chips.
I guess Ra's al Ghul is all that in a bag of chips. And so then it flashes back to their fight in the underworld, which is not finished yet. And they talk about how you can give me the answer to the greatest puzzle of all. You are deaf, a greater thing. I ask you a straight question in a game whose stakes are life and death for hundreds, thousands of people, and you give me gibberish. And I'm like, Batman, you realize that now?
Yeah, Neal Adams, that's how I feel. I ask you a straight question. What's this book about? And you give me gibberish.
Yeah. So then Batman grabs Sensei by the neck and says, to all of you, this is no game, and this is not a clown. Like, basically reference to all my enemies are clown. This is not a clown.
Yeah.
You think all the enemies in the jail cells felt like just like when like oh and, like shrug their
Aw.
shoulders that Batman put them down?
This is an assassin. He has killed many people by his own choice. No more. No more in my city. New rules. Robin in my cape. The pocket. The gun. And,
I'm not gonna lie. I think this scene is really cool. Unironically, I think this scene is cool.
And Robin tosses him the gun, saying, "Okay, boss." And Demon's like, "No."
Bruce.
And Demon's like, "Oh my God, it's happening! It's a real gun! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!" And Batman shoots Sensei right through the chest, and
From behind, he
It's
like
a-
has him in like a headlock,
it's like a pistol, but it explodes his chest. By the way,
and it's a full double page spread.
it's like a chest burster from Aliens. Like,
Yeah.
this gun does so much damage. All the Batman's enemies are looking at this like, "Oh my fucking God!"
And
he
this is like 2
he
pages.
done whacked.
It's 2 pages of every Batman villain being like, "Whoa, what
Yeah,
the fuck just
Clayface
happened?"
is like yes. ... No.
Yeah,
He had the best.
and they're like,
reaction,
"But you're Batman.
yeah.
Like you're not supposed to do that."
yeah.
and he's like, new rules. If you must, you can kill each other and be punished. That is for the system to work out. But if you kill a civilian or an officer of the law, I will track you down. I will find you, and I will kill you dead.
So Batman basically really puts the fear of God in these assholes. And my favorite's the Joker goes, that wasn't funny. I think that's cool. That it's like the first time Joker hasn't been just mocking this whole thing.
Yeah, so basically Batman, now everyone thinks Batman kills people too if they fuck with him too much.
Yeah.
And now it turns out actually he didn't kill Sensei, he turned into a baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But
Do
there's-
you want to talk about that scene since you like it so much?
yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, during his discussion with the sensei, Batman and him come to an agreement. Like, I'll give you what you want if you give me what I want. And, like, we can work out a deal. So the deal that he works out with the sensei is I will let you... We'll get to what he gives to the sensei, but the sensei offers him, I will make your enemies fear you. Because they don't think you're ever going to kill anybody. So he fakes this death with him, using the same bombs that he put on Robin. And what he offers Sensei, which is now no longer the scene that I think is really cool, he gives him this potion that turns him into a baby, and he gives... Oh, it might be a Lazarus Pit thing.
Yeah.
Is that
It looks like a Lazarus Pit.
Okay, if you drink so much, you turn to baby.
I guess, I don't
He
know.
never. It's never straight
It's never
out
explained.
mentioned.
But then he gives him away to a new couple who's looking to adopt. And it's just like that episode of Doctor Who in season 1.
Yeah.
Where it's basically like a nature versus nurture kind of thing, where the sensei wanted a new chance to not be an asshole with a real family instead of Ra's al Ghul training him to be like an assassin sensei ninja.
Yeah, and his memory gets wiped, so he's gonna have a fresh start.
And his memory
Yeah.
gets wiped. And I actually find this to be kind of a neat ending. Even though the baby thing is ridiculous, it's actually like kind of tying it up in a bow that I did not expect it to at all.
No, like the gunshot thing I thought was interesting. It's cool because you're never gonna see that in mainstream Batman story.
Yeah.
So why not have it here?
Yeah.
And then the baby thing I thought was cute. You know, like I
Yeah.
It
wasn't
was literally cute because it's a baby.
no, I wasn't super like in love with it, but it's like, oh, this is a interesting way to resolve this issue.
Yeah.
Without Batman killing him.
Because basically what it does
Yeah.
is it makes you
Joe
reflect.
loves this comic, by the way.
It makes you reflect back on the story as like, oh, this whole story is kind of about how Ra's al Ghul's an asshole.
Yeah.
And this is someone who's
He wants a second chance at life.
Yeah, but it's someone who's so affected by Ra's al Ghul being an asshole, and he wants a second chance, exactly as Joe said.
Ra's al Ghul never gets punched for being an asshole.
That's true.
Nope.
I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm
good
saying it actually.
I'm saying it's perfect, Ryan.
but
Hey,
it
remember that
acts-
subplot
yeah.
where Ra's al Ghul and the Waynes knew each other?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But it actually has an ending that I was satisfied with.
Okay.
Which a story like this, I never expect a satisfying ending.
So, and the final scene is they reveal Superman is the guy Batman is narrating the story to again. And Superman's really excited because he's like, this is Pulitzer Prize winning material, bud. I have to wait till you're dead, Batman. Then I'm going to cash in right away. Hot dog. I'm going to screw over Robin and Alfred and everyone else is still alive, probably.
Yeah.
And then, so he gets ready, and Batman's like, aren't you going to do that thing? What thing? That swoosh thing, you know. Oh, sure. And Robin's like, all right.
That swoosh thing.
And then Robin's like, he's going to do that swoosh thing. He's going to do that swoosh thing. And the last panel is Superman's flying away, and it's a text burp saying swoosh.
So before we get to final judgments, I want to tell you my theory. I think that Batman is playing a prank on Superman and telling him a crazy, bizarre, bullshit story so that he writes this article after Batman dies and looks like a fucking idiot.
That's fucking awesome.
Then-
I was gonna rate this comic a 9 out of 10. You just made a 10 out of 10.
So Batman is gonna die, and as he takes his last breath, he knows Superman's gonna be disowned as a reporter and be made a mockery of by everyone because I told him this stupid fucking nonsense.
This is the real Batman v Superman. This is the better Batman v Superman.
So you guys are on board with that?
I'm gonna bore that. So, final judgments. Joe first because he hates the most.
And we're judging it now. We didn't do final judgments last week. We're doing it as a whole,
Okay.
the whole miniseries,
Okay.
or all 13 issues.
All right. This is weird because I'll break it up in just use the first part. I'd give like a 9 out of 10
Okay.
because it's crazy and insane, but it's just so damn entertaining.
Yeah.
This one I'd have to give like a 6 out of 10 because it's long and drawn out, and it's the same thing over and over again. It's still crazy, but like it wasn't like as over the top ridiculous as part one. And you could, as I said before, I think you could kind of sum up like the first 3 issues into one sentence
Yeah.
and do it justice. It wasn't as good for me the back half, although it does end satisfyingly. So on the whole, it's enjoyable, but you're gonna get more in the first half of the story than you are in the second half.
Is it a good bad that you would recommend?
I could recommend the first half as like good bad. It's really hard for me because the second half is
gotcha.
very tough to get through. But it leans more on the side of good bad
Yeah.
than bad bad. It's a wacky, crazy, over the top take on Batman that we really don't see a lot of anymore.
Yeah.
Without going into the dark and gritty spectrum,
He's taken so seriously now that
Yeah.
the fact that this came out in like 2011 is crazy.
it's
to
great.
me.
I think it's great. I hope for more takes. I want more zany, over the top takes of characters that you can just kind of read, laugh, and enjoy.
Neal Adams is doing a Superman series
Fantastic.
like soon.
we still have to read his
We
X-Men.
have to read X-Men.
Yeah. I definitely agree with Joe, but to a lesser extent. I thoroughly enjoyed the second half. I do think
No,
it
that's
dips
fair.
a little, but I think overall it walks the line between good, bad, and a book I actually kind of like.
No, there are parts that, like, the part was like, wait, no, stop, why are you actually murdering them? Like, and he's like, well, that didn't go as planned.
Yeah.
Like
Like
there's
I
some
think
crazy parts.
overall I wasn't as bored in the second half. I think that if you want something totally crazy, I was entertained the whole time.
Yeah.
So I would say that
he gets so, like, whereas the worriness was, I thought, a strength almost a little bit.
Yeah.
In the first half, I thought it was a detriment in the
I can see
second
that.
half.
So I would say it's a good bad, but there are parts that I genuinely unironically enjoyed.
There's always a issue with good bad and boring bad, where if the more a movie becomes an actually good movie, it becomes boring bad.
Yeah.
Where basically if it's competent too much, it becomes less funny. The first half is definitely good bad because it's so incompetent in character, dialogue, scene cohesion, coherence, everything humanly possible to making a good story, except maybe pretty art. And even the art gets hard to follow, defeating the purpose of it in a lot of ways. But
We all missed the tail.
Yeah.
and so the second half becomes more of an actual story. In that case, becomes more competent. In that case, becomes a little bit more boring. But I do think it still is good enough to recommend. And now I think overall I agree with Ryan more.
That's fine. I don't have any issues with that.
Yeah, I don't think Joe is
I'm
like,
not.
he
Well,
don't-
I'll never be on this podcast again.
This is a final episode of
he doesn't hate it as much as he hated the cruel way of dying.
No, you know what? Somehow tentacle sex escaped this one. So, and I'm grateful for it.
So instead of the letters page, because we're try not to do letters when it runs real long,
Yeah.
and we have a lot to talk about with the story. But there are 2 things I want to mention. One, I really want to say thanks to @ZachFig on Twitter because he has suggested us a treasure trove of fantastic stories to do. I'd say probably close to 10 that we're gonna like. All right, some of them were already on the list, but they've now moved up, and I have had a great time looking into the stories that I wasn't super familiar with that he recommended. So keep them coming. And if you guys have any suggestions, it's at Divisive Issues on Twitter or at divisiveissues@gmail.com. And you could write us discussion questions because we're probably going to have some shorter episodes coming up. So we'll have some stuff like that. and also the Facebook page, all that stuff. So yeah, and definitely write us a review on iTunes if you guys like the show. We really, really appreciate all the feedback we've got, but that is by far the best way to let people know about the show and help us expand. And because iTunes does it algorithmically, we really only need just a handful of reviews in 1 week to show up on the charts. So please do that. You guys are the best. Okay, so now we all seem to recommend this book, but if you wanted to recommend something that maybe isn't quite so bizarre, what would you recommend that is in the same vein or just whatever you feel like? You want to go first, Joe?
I do. All-Star Batman and Robin by Frank Miller.
I can totally get behind that.
I'm gonna say that same thing.
This is another absurdist take on Batman that is incredibly over the top and ridiculous. It has some of the most quotable lines.
That's where I'm the
you
goddamn Batman.
That
comes
is,
from.
are you dense? Are you retarded or something? Don't you know who I am? I'm the goddamn Batman.
Yeah.
That is line for line what Batman first says to Robin when he meets him.
Well, he's driving him
Well,
home
he's-
from his parents' death.
Yes.
And he punches him in the face, too.
And it is ridiculous. It's over the top. There's a great scene with Green Lantern that
Oh
I
my
love
God,
and hold
it's
dear to my
wonderful.
heart. And it is crazy. Jim Lee's on art.
Jim Lee's art this is his peak. It's gorgeous.
It's ridiculous and kind of a train wreck at times.
I
and it's
actually
great.
think it's a really apt comparison because when I read All-Star Batman and Robin, the first half I loved the ride. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is such a crazy interpretation. This is so much fun. And the second half I thought got what you said about Odyssey really kind of boring. The different takes started to get more like obnoxious and offensive.
Yeah.
And I still think I would recommend the whole thing, but it's very similar to Odyssey in that regard that when you first get hit with these concepts, you're like, this is amazing. And then it gets like, okay, it's getting kind of stale.
So I recommend reading Daniel Neal and Neal Adams' Batman. We said before Daniel Neal is the best Bronze Age writer probably, and Neal Adams is probably the definitive Bronze Age artist. So seeing the two masters of the craft working on a book, it's a very special thing, and it will show you that Neal Adams is really great if you don't let him script the book.
Yeah. I mean, that was also 40 years ago.
You would think
A lot can happen in 40
you would
years.
think you will learn to write better in 40 years.
Tell that to almost every comic book writer.
That's a good point. Very good point.
My recommendation, I'm not going to get super into it because it's a really long one. I would recommend Grant Morrison's Batman run.
Ooh.
I know it's divisive. Not everybody loves it as
It's
much
a
as me.
divisive issue.
Yeah. But Joe talked a lot about the reason why I'm recommending is because Joe talked a lot about how this kind of
I'm
goes.
just oohing Ryan. I don't mind the run.
Ooh,
There are parts
this man.
there are parts I certainly don't love about the run, but there are parts that I think are brilliant.
So it's like Joe said with Odyssey, you feel like it's kind of going through eras of Batman. It starts with the gun, Golden Age stuff, goes into campy alien, like crazy alien Silver Age stuff. Grant Morrison's run does that, in my opinion, a lot more competently and has a full narrative structure. He goes through the stages of Batman's life, but more in a sense of maturity of the character, where when it starts, he's kind of like an immature child about how he views Batman. He hits an adolescent run where he's a lot more fun and like it's more of like a teen book almost, and then there's a much more mature epilogue that deals more with like taking on responsibility and stuff, and it goes through every era of Batman in a way that I find fascinating and does at times feel like a crazy acid fever dream, much like Odyssey.
Especially like Odyssey.
Yeah. I would be surprised if part of Grant Morrison's Batman doesn't end up on this show at some point.
I think there are spots that could work its way on. For
Maybe
sure.
the part when he gets a fifth dimensional imp to direct him while he's a crazy homeless purple Batman.
Or the internet episode.
Oh, that issue's terrible. So all of Grant Morrison's Batman run except Batman Inc. Volume 1, Number 8. So, cool. So I loved talking to you guys about this story.
Oh, this was a trip and a half for sure.
And thank you guys for joining us on that crazy journey through Batman Odyssey. I've been Ryan Lynch.
I've been Purple Batman.
God, there's some other. I'm a gnome. All right, stay in continuity.